On today's episode, XAI's supercomputer reaches full power, Tesla's budget Model Y undercuts the competition, the robotaxi app takes shape, and a 98-year-old vet levels a Model 3 with a tank. Elon Musk's Colossus Supercomputer has just received a power upgrade from the city of Memphis, Tennessee. Colossus is home to about 200,000 NVIDIA GPUs, giving Musk's XAI more raw processing capability than any other supercomputer in the world, rivaling even the Frontier supercomputer at Oak Ridge National Laboratory that's responsible for the entire American nuclear weapons arsenal. Colossus was built out in two phases. The first is 100,000 GPUs that came online in fall 2024, and the second is another 100,000 chips that began operation in February 2025. But in order to get the most out of that hardware, XAI needs an adequate supply of power, and that's been a problem for the company since Colossus began Phase 1 operation. To deliver the electricity required to keep the AI supercomputer running at its full potential, the local power utility in Memphis had to build a whole new substation in under a year that's capable of delivering 150 megawatts of electricity directly to Colossus. For scale, that's the energy equivalent of about 30,000 average homes. Before the substation went online, XAI was actually relying on a parking lot full of 35 trailer-mounted natural gas-burning turbines to power Colossus. These temporary generators were heavily criticized for spewing around 2,000 tons of nitrogen oxide pollution per year into the neighborhoods surrounding the data center. Local advocacy groups have argued that XAI took advantage of a loophole in the Clean Air Act by classifying the gas turbines as portable generators, allowing them to skip the usual environmental permitting process. The newly built substation is going to be capable of supplying full power to Phase 1 of Colossus, but some of the gas generators are still going to be required to keep Phase 2 running for now. Half of them will be removed over the next 2 months, and the rest are scheduled to be powered down this fall when a second dedicated substation goes online, which is also being built for XAI by the city of Memphis. That second substation is necessary for supplying grid power to the entire 200,000 GPU cluster all at once. But even with all of this new infrastructure, XAI is going to need a bit of help from an old friend to keep a steady supply of electricity flowing into Colossus. That means another 150 megawatts of energy will be stored in Tesla's Megapack batteries that have also been installed on site to provide backup power during outages or peak demand. Musk has described the situation as a glimpse into AI's energy future, posting on X, "Been thinking about the fastest way to bring a terawatt of compute online. That is roughly equivalent to all electrical power produced in America today." Now, Elon isn't the first to suggest that future AI models will need massive new energy sources, and something that Elon has also been doing recently is urging regulators to speed up approvals for solar and battery storage projects over new gas plants. XAI is scouting land for large solar arrays that could eventually reduce their dependency on fossil fuels and provide power for Colossus 2, which is a 1 million GPU data center that the company has also planned on building in Memphis. Though looking at what it's taken just to power a 200,000 chip supercomputer, you start to get a real sense of just how much work will need to be done to support something the size of Colossus 2, and that will not happen overnight. Whether Memphis becomes an AI boomtown or a cautionary tale about power-hungry data centers will depend on how quickly XAI can transition from gas turbines to sunlight. Tesla just dropped their cheapest Model Y ever, a rear-wheel drive version with 357 miles of range, starting at just $37,490 after tax credits, or $45,000 with no credit. This new version uses a single motor to deliver about 295 horsepower, taking it from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds. That's just under a second slower than the dual motor option, but in return you get an extra 30 miles of driving range. By ditching the front motor and a few extra pounds, Tesla has trimmed both weight and energy use. Other than losing the drive wheels in the front, the new Model Y remains largely unchanged, with only the premium audio package and the optional 20-inch wheels removed. At that price, the new Model Y is situated close to its competitors in the electric crossover SUV market. Hyundai's Ioniq 5 SE rear-wheel drive lists at $44,075 before incentives, but offers only 245 miles of range. Chevy's upcoming Equinox EV2 LT comes in at just $35,000 with 319 miles of range, but lacks the Tesla's raw power, and Ford's Mustang Mach-E Select rear-wheel drive starts at just under $40,000 with a range of 250 miles. The timing of this value Model Y is probably no coincidence. Tesla vehicle deliveries dropped 13% year over year in Q1 2025, the sharpest decline since the pandemic. Tesla also needs to keep demand flowing without eating into profits. The higher-priced dual-motor and performance trims still bring in better margins, so offering a lower-priced variant with fewer components helps balance the books by boosting volume. Tesla has used a similar tactic in China, where it's cut prices more aggressively to keep pace with local competitors like BYD and XPeng. But this US launch marks the first time in 2025 that the company has adjusted the domestic Model Y lineup to directly address affordability. Tesla's robotaxi is set to launch in Austin, Texas next month, and the company is already updating its iPhone app to prepare for the new service. The clues came from version 4.44.5 of the Tesla app, where an ex-user going by @Tesla_app_iOS found a string of new commands buried in the code. The code reveals new app functions needed for the ride-hailing service, including the selection of a pickup and drop-off location. Interestingly, it looks like the interface also includes a button to call the driver, suggesting that it may still be some time before humans are removed entirely from the equation. One of the more whimsical details found in the app is the internal codename Project Alicorn, a mythical creature that combines a unicorn and a Pegasus, perhaps a reference to gull-winged doors on the upcoming Cybercab. In some slightly more challenging news, Tesla's application to trademark the word robotaxi has been rejected by the US Patent and Trademark Office. The agency ruled that the term is too generic. In other words, lots of companies might already use robotaxi to describe the same kind of service, so no one can claim it exclusively. Tesla has 90 days to respond, or the trademark application will expire. They could argue that it's built up enough public association with the word that it deserves a trademark, but that's a tough case to make when competitors like Waymo, Cruise, and Baidu have also said robotaxi for years. Tesla also tried to trademark Cybercab, but that application hit its own roadblock due to conflict with another company that already trademarked the word cyber. For now, the company can still use robotaxi in marketing, but it won't be able to stop others from doing the same. While Tesla doesn't need any special permits to roll out its self-driving vehicles in the state of Texas, federal regulators at the National Highway and Transportation Safety Agency say Tesla must answer a series of safety-related questions before launch. The agency sent a formal inquiry asking how the robotaxi system will perform in poor visibility conditions such as bright sun, fog, rain, or dust, and whether Tesla vehicles will be monitored in real time during autonomous operations. NHTSA also wants details about the number of vehicles involved, the deployment timeline, and how Tesla plans to ensure safety if weather conditions deteriorate mid-ride. 98-year-old World War II veteran Ken Turner climbed into a restored Sherman tank and flattened a Tesla Model 3 on a rural runway in Kent, England. The stunt was filmed by the activist collective led by donkeys and was timed with Victory in Europe Day. Celebrated each year on May 8th, the holiday commemorates the day that Germany surrendered to the Allies of World War II in 1945. The video took aim at Elon Musk's support of European populist parties such as Germany's AfD. Before rolling forward, the veteran tank driver addressed the camera saying, "I'm old enough to have seen fascism the first time around. Now it's coming back." Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is using his immense power to support the far right in Europe. We've crushed fascism before and we'll crush it again. The Tank vs. Tesla clip quickly went viral, earning more than 1 million views on X and hundreds of thousands more on YouTube and TikTok. Comments were split. Climate activists cheered the symbolism, Tesla fans mocked the durability test. Led by Donkeys is a UK-based activist group that highlights political messaging through billboards, projections, and videos. They display quotes from public figures to draw attention to contradictions, false claims, or shifts in policy. Originally focused on Brexit, their campaigns now address broader issues like government transparency and climate action. Whether you see the act as a principled stand against creeping authoritarianism or just viral performance art, the Tank vs. Tesla video struck a nerve. And it's a reminder that in 2025, a successful protest means more than just holding a sign. Sometimes, it means rolling in 40 tons of steel. Tesla will now sell their supercharger cabinets to anyone who wants to open a private EV charging station. The program began quietly in late 2023 when BP Pulse, the EV division of British oil giant BP, signed a $100 million deal to buy Tesla's V3 supercharger cabinets, capable of charging at up to 250 kilowatts. BP is installing those chargers at its Travel Centers of America, convenience stores, and Hertz rental car lots across the US. They'll carry BP's own green and blue EV brand on the outside, but the guts inside are all Tesla. Tesla is now preparing to scale this model globally. In Europe, EG Group, one of the largest fuel and convenience retailers, recently signed on as its first large-scale international buyer. Under the deal, Tesla builds the supercharger stalls and cabinets at its factory in Buffalo and ships them to partners like EG, who handle installation, pricing, and maintenance. Tesla plans to present its next-generation V4 superchargers to more potential partners at an industry event in Munich. These upgraded units feature longer cables for easier access by non-Tesla EVs and can deliver up to 500 kilowatts of power. With simplified setup and improved reliability, the white label model lets Tesla rapidly expand its charging footprint without owning or operating every site. If you own a gas station, mall, or rental agency, you can now buy Tesla's chargers, paint them your brand color, set your own price, and plug in drivers from any automaker. For Tesla, it's a win-win. Expand reach, push its charging standard, and get paid without laying a single inch of cable. And for drivers, it just means more fast, reliable places to charge, even if the sign out front doesn't say Tesla.